My dear grade 6 students, I'm Mr. Ahmed Magdy, your math teacher. Our lesson today is the first unit of the 6th grade curriculum for the academic year 2024-20. Talks about data distribution of 5 lessons. The first and third lesson is about exploring the histogram and representing data using histograms. The fourth lesson is about the box plot and exploring the box plot. And lesson 5 or the fifth lesson is about applications on data. So today we will talk about the concept of statistical and non-statistical questions and how to determine the type of the question, types of answers in statistical questions, whether they are numerical or categorical. After that, we will talk about the characteristics of the dot plot and the bar graph and how to answer questions through these graphs. So let's go. Is about data and statistical questions. What is the meaning of statistical and non-statistical questions? A statistical questions is a question that can be answered by collecting data and anticipate variability in those data, or we can say should have different answers. Okay, again, statistical questions should have different answers. Okay, but non-statistical questions is a question that has an exact answer or just one answer. Okay, so if I have an example like this, I have two questions. The first one is how old are you? And the second question is how old are the students in your class, in your school? Okay, this is the first one and this is the second one. The first question is non-statistical question, but why? Because I have only one answer, because I asked one person. I asked one person. Is how old are the students of in your class is it a statistical question because the answer the second question need to determine the ages of all students in the school, and there would be variability in those data. Okay, since not all students are not in the same age, so maybe I have 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and so on. So I have a variability in data. So I have many answers. I have different answers. But the first question, I asked one student, so I have only one answer. So this question is non-statistical question. So in conclusion, we can say statistical questions have different answers, but non-statistical questions has only one answer. Okay, so if I wanted to identify which question are statistical or non-statistical, let's read the questions to identify it. The first question is, what time did the students in your class get up this morning? So I will ask one question. Did I ask one person or many persons? I think many persons because I say, what time did the student in your class? So I asked many students in the class. Okay, so I think this is a statistical question. The second one, how many students are in your class? I think I asked one student because I will get one answer. Okay, so maybe the class has 20 students or 25 or 30. So, so I think this question is non-statistical question. The third one is, how many brothers does Mina have? I think it's non-statistical question. Okay, so statistical with S and non-statistical with N. The fourth one I have, what are the students' favorite colors in your class? I think in this question I will ask many persons or many students. So I think it's a question in answers. Some people will like blue, some people will like red, maybe get many different answers. So I think is the question. Next, how tall was Sandy in the previous year? I think it's non-statistical because I will get just one answer because I asked one person. It is Sandy. Okay, so I think this is non-statistical question. Next, I have, how many books do the students in your class read per year? I think it is a statistical question. But why? Because I asked many students. I asked many students in my class about how many books. I will get different answers. I will get many different answers. So I can say I think it will be a statistical question. So I have three non-statistical questions and three statistical questions. Okay, next, listen about this note. The various forms of statistical questions affect the amounts and shape of collected data. So if I have an example like this, the collected data will be different if you ask it the question like the first form as opposed to the second form. The first form was, do students in your class have siblings? And the second form is, how many siblings do, do students in your class have? Okay, the first question here, the answers will be just two answers, yes or no. Okay, but here I will get different answers because I asked about the number of siblings. Okay, so the collected data from the first question will be like this. Here, students who have siblings is 11 students, and students who do not have siblings, I think it will be 3. Okay, so I have just two answers. The first answer was yes, and the second answer was no. So this is the first question, but the collected data from the second question is like this. I have three students does not have any siblings, so 0 has 3 dots. Students who have just one sibling is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 students. Students who have two siblings are 3 students. And students who have 3 siblings are 2 students. Are 2 students. And the student who, and one student has 6 siblings. So here I have 1 and here I have 3. So 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 equals 11. So this is the answer of the first question here. And 3 does not have any siblings. So I think this is the second answer here. Okay. So maybe I will get answers by numbers and maybe I will get answers by words or maybe quantity or quality. Okay, so I think I will have two different types of statistical answers. So the first type is the numerical answers or the numerical data, and the second type is categorical data or qualitative data. So the first one is quantitative and the second. So numerical data, I think the data here will be collected in number form. So like height, weight, age, number of books, and so on. Every question here will be answered in numbers. But here I have a descriptive form. So my answers will be like words. Okay, so like colors, favorite sports, and so on. So here I have numbers, and here I have words. Oh, or maybe I think it will be things. Okay, so I have two types of answers for statistical questions. The first type is numbers or numerical data or quantitative data, and the second type is categorical data or qualitative data. Okay, so if I want to determine whether the results from each question would give me numerical data or categorical data. So let's try. The first question here, how many pets do the students in your class have? I will ask myself, in this question, I'm asking about numbers or things. I think here it will be numbers because I'm asking about how many pets. So the answer here will be in numerical form or it will be numerical data. Okay, the second one, I have what color hair do students in your class have? So I will ask the question again. In this question, I'm asking about number or thing. So I think it will be thing, because I'm asking about the color or the hair color. Okay, so I think here this question will be categorical data. Okay, next, what type of fruits do students in your class like like best? Okay, so I'm asking about things or numbers. I think it will be things because I'm asking about types of fruits. So I think it will be also categorical that. Okay, next, how many siblings do the students in your class have? How many siblings? I think I'm asking about numbers. Okay, so I think this will be numerical data. This will be numerical data. Okay, the last one here, I'm asking about how many apps do the students in your class have on their phones? So I'm asking here about numbers of apps. So I think it will be numerical debts. Okay. Next, I will talk about the forms of representing data that we learned in previous years. So let's remember them. The first one here is a dot plot. The dot plot displays individual data values along the number line and uses dots to represent the frequencies of each individual values. Okay, again, the dot plot displays individual data values along the number line. So I would draw a number line, and after that I will represent the data here by dots, and I will ask about how many times that every data repeated in my collected data. Okay, so if I have an example like this, I have the dot plot of boxes read last month. Okay, so I will ask how many students that does not read any books. Again, how many students do not read or did not read any boxes? So I think it will be 2. Here, 3 students read 1 book. 4 students read 2 books. And 5 students read 3 books. And 3 students read 4 books. And one student read 5 books. And 2 students read 6 books. So here I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1, 2. Okay? Okay? So, what is the characteristics of dot plot? The first one is the title. I must write the title of the dot plot above the dot plot like this. Next, the dot plot shows numerical data only. Okay, so I will represent the data here on the number line. Okay, and I will put dots above every number to represent the frequencies of each individual data. Okay, so each individual data is represented by a dot above the number line. So the number of repeating times of 0 is 2. Here I have 3. Here I have 4. Here I have 5. Here I have 3. Here I have 1. And here I have 2. Okay? And after that, the number line is labeled with the units used to measure data. So here I use the number of books. So I have 0 books, 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, 5 books, 6 books, and the distance are equal here. The distances are equal here. Okay, so I draw a number line with the same equal distance between every two numbers to represent my data. Okay, so from the graph we can guess a statistical question that we asked the students in our class as like, how many books did you read last month? And from the graph we can all know also the number of students that were surveyed or were asked, and it will be 20, because I have here 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 9, 9 plus 5 equals 14, and 14 plus 3 equals 17, 17 plus 1 equals 18, and 18 plus 2 equals 20. So I have 20 students were surveyed in our questionnaire. Okay, so I counted the number of all dots to know the number of students. So if I wanted to know the number of students that read 2 books, so I will reach number 2 here on the number line, and I will count the dots above it. So I have 4 dots. So I can say the number of students that read 2 books is 4 students. So if I want to know the number of students that did not read any books, and I think it will be 2, because if I want to know that, I will go to the number 0 here. So I have here 2 dots, so I can say the number of students is 2. And if I also want to know the number of students that read 3 books and more is what? So I will stop at 3 here. Okay, and I want to know the number of students that read 3 books or more. So I can say 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So I will count all of these dots to get the number of students. So I have here 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 equals 11. So I can say the number of students will be 11. Okay, and this is the first type of representing data. The second one was the bar graph. The bar graph displays individual data values along the horizontal axis and uses bars to represent the frequencies of each individual data. So I think bar graph here maybe represents categorical data, because if I have an example like this, I'm asking about the favorite color, and this is the title. Okay, so the first thing of the bar graph is the title. The second one is the 2 axes. I have here the horizontal axis to represent the data, which can be anything. So I collected any types of data, like here the types of colors. So I represent the types of colors here on the horizontal axis, and the vertical axis here is numbers, and numbers here has a scale, so it will be an equal distance 2. Okay, and after that I have labels for each axis. The first one here is about the favorite color, And the second one here is about number of students. This is the labels for every axis. After that, we can say that the bar graph shows the categorical data, okay? And after that, we can say that the bars here represent the number of repeating for every individual value or for every individual data, okay? So here I have red color repeated 5 times and green color repeated 3 times and blue color is repeated 2 times and yellow color is repeated 6 times, okay? And each bar represents one category or one value. So the first one here represents the red color. The second one here represents the green color. The third one represents the blue color. And the fourth one represents the yellow color. Okay. After that, we can say that we have gaps between parts. So I have here one unit. Here I have 1 unit, here I have 1 unit, here I have 1 unit, okay? So I have gaps or equal gaps between parts, okay? And I think we can change the order of these parts. So I can say the parts can be rearranged. So I can put the yellow as the first bar, maybe the red in is the second bar, so I can change the order here of the bars or I can rearrange them, okay? So I think from the graph we can know a lot of things. The first one, that I can guess a statistical question that can be asked in my class, like what is the favorite color? Or what is your favorite color, okay? Number 2, I asked about the number of students that were surveys. So I will collect every number from the bars like this and add them together to get the total number of students. So I can say that I have 5, 3, 2, and 6, and I would add them together to get 16. Okay, so if I want to know the number of students for every color, right, like red, green, blue, yellow, so I can say that the number of students who prefer red is 5. Okay, so the number of students who prefer green is 3. The number of students who prefer blue is 2. The number of students that prefer yellow is 6. So I can say anything about every data for itself, okay? And if I wanted to number of students who do not prefer green color, so I will add the other colors. So I have here 5 and 2 and 6, so it will be 13. So I will delete or I will cancel the green color from my total number to get the number of students who do not prefer green color, okay? So, and if I want to ask about the most preferred color, so it will be yellow. And if I want to ask about the least preferred color, and I think it will be the blue color, okay? But I have a note for the bar graph. The bar graph maybe show a numerical data. So here I said that the bar graph shows the categorical data, okay? But maybe the bar graph can represent a numerical data as opposite graph here. Here I have the lunches bought per week. Okay, so I will ask every student about the number of lunches that bought per week. So maybe no lunches, one lunch, two lunches, three lunches, four lunches, five lunches, and I will collect my data. So no lunches, I think it will be 3 students. One lunches will be 6. Two lunches will be 4. 3 lunches will be 2. 4 lunches will be 2. And 5 lunches will be 1. Okay, so look, this data here is not categorical data. Okay, it's just numbers. Okay, so the data here is the number of lunches bought, but also we can rearrange these bars. We can change the order here. Okay, maybe you think that we have a numbers, so I cannot arrange it or arrange them, but we can say that we can rearrange them, or maybe we can change the order. Okay, so if I have an example like this, I have a dot plot and I want to ask many questions about this graph. So the first one here, he tells me to write a statistical question that I have been asked to draw this dot plot. Look to the title and you will know the question. Here he says movies seen at the theater last month. I think if I add the words how many, it will be a question. So I can say how many movies seen in the theater last month. So I got my question. Okay, so let's answer the next questions. The first one here, how many people were the film? So I wanted the total of all dots. The first one here is 3. Next I have 6. Next I have 5. Next I have 3, 1, 1, and 1. So I will add them together. So I have 3 plus 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals what? 3 plus 6 equals 9. 9 plus 5 equals 14. 14 plus 3 equals 17. 17 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 20. So I have 20 people were surveyed. Next, how many people saw 3 movies? So I will go to number 3. Here, I have 3 people or 3 dots above the number 3. So I can say the number of people here is 3 people. Okay. Next, I have how many people saw 2 movies or more. So I think maybe we will stop at 2, like this. I will stop here. And I want to know the number of people saw 2 movies and more. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on until the end of the number line. So I will start with 2. I have here 5. So I will write 5. Next I have 3. Next I have 1. Next I have 1 and 1. Here I have 3. Here I have 5, 3, 1, 1, and 1. So I can say 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals what? Equals 11. So I can say the number of people that saw 2 movies or more is 11 people. Okay. Next, I want to answer, or I want to ask about how many people did not see any movies. Did not see any movies. I think I will go to the number 0 here. Okay, so 0 movies means that people did not see any movies. So I will say that I have 3 people here did not see any movies. So I can say, or I can answer that it will be 3. So I will write 3 people. Okay. Next, how many people saw less than 3 movies? So I will say, where is 3? It's here. I will stop here. Okay. So I want that people who saw 3 movies or less than 3 movies. So I think 3 is not with us. So I will look at 2 and 1. And I think it will be and 0. Okay, so the first number here is 2 movies. Next I have 1 movie. And next I have 0 movies. So I will add them together. So I have 3 plus 6 plus 5. So 3 plus 6 equals 9. And 9 plus 5 equals 14. So 14 people saw less than 3 movies. Okay. The next one. I have a bar graph. From the opposite bar graph, answer the following questions. I asked about the number of students passed the monthly quiz in each subject. I have math, here is 70. English, here is 60. Science, here I think it's 30. And social, here I think it's 90. Okay. So our first question is about, I want to write a question. I have been asked to graph this bar graph. Okay. So if I look to the title of the graph, I will get the answer. I will get the question. So I'm asked about the number of students passed the monthly exam or the monthly quiz in each subject. So I will ask about the number of the students. So I can say, how many students passed the monthly quiz in each subject. Okay. Next, I want to ask about how many students passed in math quiz. So I will go to the part of math, and I think it's 70. So I can say 70 students. Next, I'm asking about how many subjects have at least 60 students passed the quiz. Again, how many subjects have at least 60 students passed the quiz. So I think I would go to 60 and I would draw a line like this. Okay, at least means I want 60 and more. 60 and more. Okay, so I have here math is 70, English is 60, and social is 90. So I have 3 subjects that have at least 60 students pass the quiz. So I will say 3 subjects. Okay, next I'm asking about which subject has the lowest number of students pass the quiz. I think it's science. It's the lowest bar here. Okay, so I will say science. Next, how many more students passed in social than in science? Social here is 90 and science here is 30. So if I am asking about the number of more students, this means I want the difference between the two numbers. So I will subtract the two numbers. So I will say 90, which is the number of students in social, minus 30, which is the number of students in science. So it will be 60. So I have 60 students is the answer of my question. Thus, we have finished our video today, in which we talked about the concept of statistical and non-statistical questions and how to determine the type of question. After that, we talked about the types of answers in statistical questions, whether they are numerical or categorical. After that, we talked about the characteristics of the dot plot and the bar graph and how to answer questions through the graphs. I hope you enjoy this video a lot because it's very important in our curriculum, and I think it will be repeated with us again in the coming stages, but in more advanced way. So see you soon in a new video and a new lesson. I'm Mr. Ahmed Magdy, your math teacher. Goodbye.